So today we're going to look at 10 of the worst NBA draft busts of all time. Welcome to Fleece TV. Let's get it. Number 1. Greg Oden. If you took a dive into the career of Greg Oden, you'd see that during his time at Ohio State, he was an amazing player that accumulated accolades such as McDonald's All-American MVP and even made it to the NCAA National Championship game. Now, if you decided to dig further, you'd also notice that Oden unfortunately had an unsuccessful time in the NBA, where over the course of 6 seasons, managed to only play in 105 games. Oden had microfracture surgery on his right knee before he played an NBA game and struggled with injuries for the entirety of his career as his lower body simply couldn't hold up. Oden also played for the Miami Heat, then joined the CBA, and also returned to Ohio State to earn his bachelor's degree. The Portland Trail Blazers drafted Greg Oden as the first overall pick in the 2007 draft over Kevin Durant, which says something about his potential had he just stayed healthy. Number 2. Adam Morrison. Adam Morrison was a versatile forward with a strong overall game, which led him to get the 2006 NCAA Player of the Year award. Drafted by the Charlotte Bobcats 3rd overall in the 2006 draft, Morrison was handpicked by the GOAT Michael Jordan, whose track record as a front office personnel is spotty, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Morrison would have a rocky start to his NBA career, even losing his starting spot midway through his rookie campaign due to his underwhelming defense and horrible shooting splits. He would then tear his ACL during a preseason game while in his sophomore season and eventually traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Though he had zero impact, Adam Morrison was a part of the 2009 and 2010 Lakers championship squad. Morrison has since retired after some time overseas, and considering he only played 4 years of NBA basketball as the number 3 overall selection, would be high on anyone's draft bust list. Number 3. Sam Bowie. The Blazers are probably the most unlucky team in NBA history, especially when it comes to high draft picks. Sam Bowie, who was taken 2nd overall in the 1984 NBA draft, was an average player and actually had a decent career, where he averaged 10.9 points per game to go along with 7.5 rebounds over 10 seasons. Now, you probably wonder why Bowie makes this list considering his numbers, but he had the misfortune of being drafted before some all-time greats. Let's take a look at the players that came after him. Michael Jordan, 3rd overall. Charles Barkley, 5th overall. John Stockton, 16th overall. Now, while it is easy to fault Portland, they did lack a solid big man once Bill Walton left in 1979 and already had guards Clyde Drexler and Jim Paxson on the roster. Number 4. Marvin Williams. The 2005 NBA draft produced 2 franchise-changing point guards in Darren Williams and Chris Paul, neither of which was selected by the Atlanta Hawks, who decided to go with the player who was deemed to have the most potential in Marvin Williams. The issue with Williams' potential was, well, it was always just that. Potential. Williams was a solid producer with Atlanta for 7 seasons, but he never developed into the star player the Hawks expected him to be. Maybe he left North Carolina too early, as coming into the draft, Williams didn't exhibit the kind of skills that would be warranted of a 2nd overall draft pick. Even though the Atlanta Hawks passed on D. Will and CP3 in favor of Marvin Williams, he carved out a 16-year career between Atlanta, Utah, Charlotte, and Milwaukee, averaging 10 points and 5 rebounds. Number 5. Hasheem Thabeet. When Hasheem Thabeet was selected number 2 overall in the 2009 draft by the Memphis Grizzlies, he became the first Tanzanian-born NBA player in league history. Memphis intended for Thabeet to become a franchise cornerstone, where he would dominate the center position, producing at a level that he did when playing at UConn. If the Grizzlies drafted what they hoped for, Thabeet wouldn't have played with them for just 2 seasons and wouldn't spend time between the NBA and, at the time, the D-League. After the failed experiment in Memphis, where he averaged just 2 points and 3 rebounds, Hasheem Thabeet was shipped off to the Houston Rockets, then the Portland Trail Blazers, then signed with the OKC Thunder before he was bounced out of the league in 2014. While Thabeet never developed into anything close to special, what makes this draft selection even more embarrassing is the fact that he went before James Harden and Stephen Curry, 2 NBA top 75 players, where one was an MVP and the other a 4-time NBA champion. Number 6. Jay Williams. Jay Williams was a 6'2" point guard who was drafted by the Chicago Bulls 2nd overall in the 2002 NBA draft. Once a standout player at Duke, Williams averaged 19 points and 6 assists in college and led the Blue Devils to the 2001 NCAA championship, securing a top draft selection once he had intentions of joining the NBA. His rookie season was inconsistent, but Williams did record a triple-double and posted 10 points to go along with 5 assists for the year. Unfortunately, Williams would suffer a horrifying horrifying motorcycle accident in the offseason, which left him with a fractured pelvis, a severed main nerve in his leg, and 3 torn knee ligaments, including the dreaded ACL. Jay Williams would attempt to come back with the New Jersey Nets in 2006, but never played another NBA game again and has since enjoyed a post-career position as an analyst for ESPN. Number 7. Michael Olowokandi. Michael Olowokandi was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and played on the Pacific Tigers in college, where he was the star center and averaged over 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks his senior year. Due to his 7'6" wingspan and unlimited upside, the Los Angeles Clippers drafted Olowokandi with the first overall pick in the 1998 draft. His professional production never reached the heights that you would expect from the top pick, but Olowokandi did average 8 points per game along with 7 rebounds. Michael would play 323 games over 5 seasons with the Clippers, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was an assistant coach during that time, found him to be talented but uncoachable. Olowokandi would sign with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2003 offseason before being traded to the Celtics in 2006, where he would play 40 games and retired at the end of the season due to injuries. Number 8. Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett didn't record his first double-digit scoring output until 33 games into his rookie season. Yes, 33 games. Before the 2013 draft, there was much speculation as to who was going first, as the class that year was considered one of the weakest at that time. The Cleveland Cavaliers shocked the basketball world when they selected Anthony Bennett, a 6'8" forward who was too small to match up with bigs and too slow to keep up with small forwards and guards, first overall in the 2013 draft. Bennett played 4 seasons on 4 different teams such as the Minnesota Timberwolves, Toronto Raptors, and the Brooklyn Nets, and never averaged more than a measly 5 points per game in a lone season. Bennett never lived up to number 1 overall expectations and simply never deserved the honor, but he does have a EuroLeague championship under his belt. Number 9. Kwame Brown. Much like Adam Morrison, Kwame Brown was chosen by Michael Jordan himself with the first overall pick in the 2001 NBA draft, but this time was while he was running things for the Washington Wizards. Brown struggled with immaturity and inconsistency early in his Wizards career, averaging just 4.5 points and 3.5 rebounds as a rookie. Eventually, Brown would reject the 5-year, $30 million contract offer from the Wizards, feud with his coach Eddie Jordan and teammates such as Gilbert Arenas. Labeled as an underachiever, Kwame Brown was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers just 3 years after being taken first overall, and would go on to play for several other franchises including the Memphis Grizzlies, Detroit Pistons, and the Golden State Warriors before fizzling out of the NBA in 2013. A classic example of wasted potential, Brown will forever be labeled as a draft bust and never recovered from the hype and expectations placed upon him at a young age. Kwame would then go on to play in the Big 3 basketball league and garner some attention in 2021 after responding to negative comments regarding his career. Number 10. Darko Milicic. Darko Milicic, much like the previously mentioned Sam Bowie, is often labeled as a bust, not due to his own career, but mostly the fact that he was drafted before all-time players. The only player selected before Milicic in the 2003 NBA draft was arguably the greatest player of all time in LeBron James. When the Detroit Pistons drafted him over Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, they believed they could unleash his potential while having championship aspirations. While it's usually a great thing to be mentioned among those named, it would be better if Milicic, who managed to carve out a 9-year NBA career, had some level of their on-court production. Milicic, who also played for the Orlando Magic, Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks, and Boston Celtics in his NBA career, only averaged 6 points per game in his 9 NBA seasons, a large difference from the Hall of Famers drafted around him. The NBA offseason is an exciting time for us fans due to the draft and free agency, and recently I've made a video detailing some of the worst NBA contracts of all time. So that's going to be up on the screen right here. Check that out. See you guys next time.